Hello everybody. We're doing an Instagram live again tonight, Mondays at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I try to do these Instagram lives and we change topics every week. Last week I skipped because I was visiting family in New Hampshire and I kind of bit off a little bit more than I can chew, so coming back this week. And I just wanted to talk about a couple of random topics that a lot of you guys have been asking me about, and we'll pick up the other part of my weight loss series probably next week, depending. But a couple weeks ago I submitted a survey to all of the members of my email list, and I wanted to hear very specifically from you guys, what topics do you want to know about? And weight loss was a big one, so that's what we started with. But I got a really interesting question from someone, and I'm going to read it for you guys because I thought this was so excellent, and this is kind of the crux of what I do with patients. So they wanted something called a weekly wellness template, meaning what does a week of wellness look like? And then what does that look like on a monthly rhythm? What does that include and look like? Examples to include. So she had questions about food, supplements, self-care, IVs, acupuncture, massage. Can you give some examples of scheduling it out and what this looks like lived out? So this is a super great topic because when you work with a naturopathic doctor, we're trying to instill in you this idea that you need to figure out your own path. You need to help heal yourself as much as I, as a naturopathic doctor, am helping to heal you. So it's very much a team effort whenever you work with a naturopathic doctor. And if you're working with a naturopathic doctor and it doesn't feel like a team effort, definitely let them know, because that is literally the point of our medicine, is I give you tools so that your body can help heal itself. So, little caveat there. So if you're not jiving with your doctor, find a different one. There are, hundreds of us out there, and we all have our perspectives, our niches, the things that we're strong in. So if you're not jiving with whatever practitioner you're working with, and this is especially for therapists, this is a little soapbox of mine, if you're not getting any help from the therapist that you're currently seeing, get a different therapist. Same thing with a doctor. Tell them that things aren't working, and discuss it. But anyways, so the thing that I often do with patients is we have a certain, sorry about the noise, decided to do it outside today. We have a certain trajectory, and the trajectory involves multiple layers, and the layers all correspond with your goals. So for instance, your weekly wellness template is going to look very different depending on whether your goal is to lose weight or to heal from Hashimoto's or to get your period back or to get off of birth control. It's all going to change. So, what does a week of wellness look like? I can describe what this looks like for me. And for patients that work with me, this is what we really dig in and help to discover, because often when you're experiencing different symptoms, you need to go through the different layers of healing to then heal, and then that's when you essentially can figure out what your wellness template is, because when you're healing from some active symptoms, you start to build new habits that you will plug into your wellness template, but it's not because you're currently dealing with a lot of acute things. Usually you can't just do it all at once. Usually we're putting out different fires, we're dealing with different acute symptoms, different chronic symptoms. So until you really start to get some good healing in, your wellness template isn't necessarily going to be fully fleshed out. This is something that walking well people can do, people that don't have tons of chronic issues going on, people that have worked with a naturopathic doctor that need to keep going on their healthy habits that they've established. So just a little caveat there. So a week of wellness looks like for me, I am a huge being outside person. That's literally why I'm doing this outside tonight, you guys, is because I just got back from 10 days of visiting my family in New Hampshire. And when I'm in New Hampshire with my family, if I'm not there in the winter, then I find that I'm outside a lot. And I notice that my nervous system feels different. I sleep like a baby. And I'm significantly less anxious, even though I don't even have clinical anxiety. I feel less anxious in my body. I find that all of my random symptoms are better. Acne, different rashes that I get. I can struggle with skin stuff sometimes. And just everything is better, and that's from being outside. And I think that's because we're designed, we're programmed to be outside. This is breathing in the fresh air, seeing the green, that all has a super big effect on the nervous system. We're not designed to be indoors all the time. And one thing that I like to say about that is the climate controls that we have indoors is super, super unnatural. Our bodies are not meant to go from a super warm environment to a super cold environment. And when you're living in a hot area and you also have air conditioning, I feel like this, I don't think there have been any studies on this. I'd have to look into this, but I've always thought that it could possibly have a negative impact on your hypothalamic pituitary kind of endocrine axis, because we are going from extreme hot to extreme cold, and our bodies, think about back to when we didn't have electricity, we didn't have climate control, we were just living in the current environment that we were living in, and we would only experience the opposite extreme if we physically went to that spot. And your body has so many different ways that it can self-regulate, and so we tend to put ourselves in these unnatural environments like air conditioning inside, and then humidity outside, or dry heat outside, or vice versa. So I find that that's super interesting and possibly detrimental, though I haven't looked into that. I'm sure there haven't been really any studies into it, but being outside is huge for me, and I usually accomplish being outside with going on long walks, which are very, very restorative, or I will often go on a run, or I will take some kettlebells or some dumbbells down to a little grassy area nearby where I live. You can always take this to the park or a beach or your land if you have land where you live, and just enjoy the time outside. Put your feet in the ground, another loud car, put your feet in the ground and get all of those electrons from the ground, which are, for lack of a better term, very, very grounding. Okay. Oh my gosh. So being outside is big for me, and that's one reason why we're doing this outside tonight, is because there's something about breathing in the fresh air that we're totally designed to do. So being outside every day, if I don't have a chance to be outside during the week, then what I definitely do is try to spend significant time on the weekend outdoors. So that's kind of my thing that I will do, and I will often combine being outdoors with either very intentional relaxation or very intentional activity. And what that means is that if I am taking some significant time on the weekend to be outdoors, I might couple that with a hike and go walking, hiking, climbing for several hours, or I might lay in the grass, read a book, listen to a podcast, go to the beach, something like that, where that is very particularly restorative. Our adrenal glands need that to actually break out of this chronic sympathetic overdrive that a lot of us are experiencing. I can talk about that in a little bit. So I like to be outside, and I try to be really intentional about my activity level. One question I've been getting a lot recently is how do you determine what is the correct type of exercise for you and where you're at? Whatever stage you're at, whatever health goal you have. If you're a healthy person, how do you determine if you're getting enough movement? I was just talking to a patient about this today. And one really important thing is to think about how much you have slept. So if you are not sleeping well, it is not wise to go hard for your workouts, and one of the reasons why is because you need that restorative sleep to be able to have that oomph to actually achieve that workout. So if you are sleep deprived or you're missing sleep for whatever reason, then that's going to affect how hard you can go in the gym. And I don't recommend people that are sleeping 4, 5, 6 hours for whatever reason to have hard strenuous workouts, because their ability to recover is just not going to work. But if you are sleeping enough, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours, depending on the type of person that you are, then you can go hard, you can do almost everything that you want. But I think in general, we're designed to have movement every single day. What we tend to do as a society is sit for long periods of time and then be up for several hours walking around or doing workout or something like that. And so we have these gaps of no movement, no movement, and I think we need to change that. We're designed to be like what I would consider low-level movers. We're designed for movement, and when you sit all day, you're sedentary, and then you work out. That's just like having a sedentary lifestyle, except you just worked out for an hour. So when you work out for an hour a day and you have a sedentary job or sedentary lifestyle, that hour of exercise doesn't cancel out any of that sitting that you did all day. So for those of us that are home or working from home, or we work in an office and we're not necessarily moving every day, I recommend getting a stand-up desk. I recommend doing push-ups, squats, burpees whenever you can. Sometimes I make people a rule where whenever they go to the bathroom, they have to do 10 push-ups, or whatever it is easy in the space that you're in. Or one of my favorites is putting a kettlebell in front of the fridge. So whenever you want to reach into the fridge for something, whether it's water or a snack, you have to actually do 10 kettlebell swings before you get the fridge open. And that's one way to induce a lot of movement into your day without having such a contrast between being sedentary and also being active. So I try to have people infuse movement into their day-to-day, because they're metabolically going to be a lot better of a person than if they have those sedentary exercise chunks. And your physiology, your energy is going to respond to this, you guys. We are really not designed to sit for the long periods of time that we are. And so I have people break it up. So infuse movement in your day. That's one way to keep yourself active so that you don't become the sedentary and then an hour of working out. But in terms of determining what kind of exercise is right for you, the first metric I always look at is how much sleep did I get. Also too, what are your goals? Some people are losing weight, some people are postpartum, some people are getting back into shape, some people need to gain weight, some people need to gain muscle, some people just want to be fit. And how much exercise you do and the type really depends on your goals. So for instance, if you're pre-menopause or menopausal, you're probably going to be doing a lot more restorative exercise, less depleting exercise. And if you are, say, training for an event and you're younger, you're going to do more higher intensity, more frequent exercise. But in general, I try to have people get some form of movement for 30 minutes to an hour and a half a day. And you can break these chunks up. You don't have to do this all at the same time. So I'll often tell people who say, I don't have an hour chunk to execute, to have all my workout in, then we infuse the day with workout stuff. And especially if you're working from home, one really great way to do this is to wear leggings and a light sports bra and breathable clothing so that you can put your computer down and go run around the block and get huffy and puffy, get your heart rate up, and then go back to work. So you're having these breaks of movement so that everything doesn't just come to a standstill. So there's no direct answer about how much you should be working out, and I think that's because we are so biologically just totally individual, and our needs as women change depending on what life stage we're in. So what you do in your 20s is going to be different than your 30s, is going to be different than your late 30s, early 40s, late 40s, early 50s. Our needs for nutrition and amount of exercise change as we age as women. So for my wellness template, I like to shoot for an hour of exercise a day. And if I'm feeling particularly stressed, either when I wake up in anticipation of the day or after the day has ended, I will often go on a walk, a fast walk, not a leisurely walk, a walk that's actually like a little bit more exercisey, because walking is restorative, walking helps to modulate cortisol, walking helps to decrease stress. So I know I'm not putting any more stress on my body by doing that type of exercise, but it's still restorative, it's still getting me moving, it's still getting me some steps for the day. And then sometimes what I'll do is I'll do air squats at certain parts of the neighborhood and push-ups on certain parts of the neighborhood. Burpees sometimes too, so that I'm getting a little bit of whole body muscle engagement, but I'm not necessarily overstimulating myself with a high intensity interval training workout or sprints or Orange Theory or whatever it is, that high intensity thing that you do. So I will, if I'm particularly anxious and I need something restorative but I really want to get moving, I do a fast walk with some body weight exercises. But if it is a weight training day, then I do weights. I've personally been doing a lot less of weights because in San Diego, this is all of our gyms are closed down, and for a while they were actually requiring us to wear masks while exercising at the gym, which is actually contrary to what the CDC recommends for mask wearing and exercise. They do not recommend wearing a mask and exercising at the same time, which is just common sense, but gyms in San Diego were requiring us to wear a mask. Where they got that mandate, I do not know, but it was totally stupid in my opinion. So we stopped going to the gym when it reopened because there was a short period of time when they allowed us to be in there without masks, and then they mandated them for gyms, and so I was like, phooey, none of that. So body weight exercises is what I've been doing, or kettlebells. But I generally try to shoot for about an hour of activity a day, and this is based on how I manage my stress, what I like to do. I'm more of a movement, active type of person who really enjoys doing all of that stuff. So an hour for me is perfect, and I personally crave a little bit longer. I'm just very mindful of what my goal is for that day, how much I've slept when I'm determining how much that I should work out. So for those of you that just joined, we're talking about a weekly wellness template. I got a really great question from a gal on my survey who said, what is a weekly wellness template and how do you extrapolate that to a month? So what are the healthy habits that you have and that we should all establish as part of our daily routine? So I was talking about the right amount of exercise for you, and the next thing we should discuss is, she put on here food, and she also had a lot of great things in here. So we first talked about exercise. Food is really dependent on, for me, in my wellness template, how much I have actually moved my body that day. But I'm a big proponent of intuitive eating. And if you've never heard of intuitive eating is this idea that your body is smart and your body has these innate hunger and fullness cues, and that if we actually learn to listen to our hunger fullness cues, that we can really effortlessly modulate and make decisions about how much food we're eating, because we're in tune with those cues that are naturally given to us in our design. So as adults, we often lose our hunger fullness cues, because as kids, once we get into the school system, we have to eat at certain times. If you guys have ever observed like a 2 or 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, they're really good about telling you about when they're hungry and when they're full and when they're not. And I think as adults, we've really lost that ability. So I dove into intuitive eating when I was in medical school, and it was really my saving grace for learning how to modulate my diet. I think most people look at external factors to tell them whether they're satisfied, or to tell them when to stop eating or when to start eating. And I try really hard to ask myself, am I truly full? Do I need more food? Am I actually hungry right now? Am I stressed? Am I angry? Am I bored? Do I just need to drink enough water? So the amount of food that I take in on the daily is really determined by my own hunger fullness cues. I believe the body will tell you what it needs if you truly do listen to it, because each day is biochemically different. So, for instance, yesterday was Sunday. We had just come back on the plane the day before. I was messed up because of the time change. East Coast to West Coast is a 3-hour time difference, which isn't that much, but it can be in terms of meal schedule. And we had gone out for coffee, which is our Sunday morning ritual. And when I came back, I started working on a bunch of wedding planning stuff, and I got really into that. And so I didn't eat anything in the morning, and by the time lunchtime rolled around, I realized, oh my gosh, my body's on East Coast time, and I haven't eaten anything besides coffee, which coffee on an empty stomach is really the first rule of what not to do. But I got involved in what I was doing, and so we decided to go out for sushi. And sushi is a very, I would say, caloric, high energy type of fuel. But I knew that I needed that because I hadn't had any fuel that morning, and I was also adjusting to a different time zone, and so I wanted a really nice meal to help my body to reset. And I had done a workout the day before that was particularly intense, and so I was still refueling from that. So I knew that sushi was going to be a good choice, but I don't necessarily pick sushi on a day that I have sat around and done nothing. So that's kind of how I modulate my food. Those of you that have been following me know that I eat mostly paleo, and I have determined that that is a good fit for me based on some things that I struggle with, which is different. I get some scalp problems, sometimes some acne, and digestion. And I find that paleo is blood sugar balancing, it's sustainable, it's high nutrient, so that works really well for me. I say that I'm paleo-ish because I'm not full paleo all the time, though there are times that I feel like, I need a little bit of a reset, and so I go full paleo for a period of time. So that's my, kind of way that I will detox, reset my skin, and kind of, if I've traveled and my body feels off, then I'll do that. The other thing that I will say about how to make food part of your wellness template is we have to stop thinking about food so on such a micro level, in the sense that when you're building a meal, it's wise to think about all of the components. So do I have a fat? Do I have a protein? Do I have a carb if I need it? Do I have fiber? Do I have water? All these things. But I think a lot of my clients that I work with tend to get very stuck on this idea of making a perfect meal, And so I like to tell people instead, think about your nutrition on a 24-hour window, but also think about it in terms of a weekly and a monthly window. So what I mean by that is, at the end of the day, you should be able to think about, okay, did I get enough protein in? Did I get enough carbs for my activity level? Did I get in enough fiber? Did I get in insert whatever nutrient in there that's really important to you. Think about that, but then also, if you didn't do so well that day, you can work a little bit harder the next day, or, say for instance you have a special event coming up at the end of the week, and you know that you are going to have a couple of cocktails, or you know that there's probably going to be some fried food around, or you're going to go out for ice cream with friends on a Friday night. You can plan your nutrition the couple of days leading up to that and after to help support a little bit of deviation from what you typically do. So my example that I like to use is ice cream, because I'm an ice cream fiend. I grew up in New England, and so we like our ice cream in New England. But when I'm thinking, oh, I'm gonna get ice cream with my family in the afternoon, or I'm gonna go out and get ice cream with friends, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to eat a protein-rich meal before I do that, and I'm not going to have ice cream alone. So I'm not going to have lunch at 12 p.m. and ice cream at 3 p.m. and then dinner at 6 p.m. I'm going to have ice cream at 1 p.m. after a 12 p.m. lunch. So that will minimize, sorry about the loud plane, that will minimize my insulin surge and my blood sugar spike, which is really beneficial when you put a bunch of ice cream into your system, so that you don't feel shaky and irritable and you don't have that blood sugar crash, which I personally hate. So, say I'm going out with my friends for ice cream at 5 p.m. I'm going to make sure that I eat a protein-rich meal after. So, one example is, you go out for ice cream 4 p.m. and then at 5 p.m. instead of getting, a sandwich and french fries, you're going to get, a piece of fish or a steak or a chicken breast and some vegetables instead, because you already got the carbs in the ice cream, and then you're going to, round it out with some nutrients in the vegetables, and in the protein, you're going to get some healthy fats and some amino acids. So you can plan your food loosely for the day, but you can also plan, for the week. So say that you're traveling on the weekend and you're not going to have a lot of great food options. You can plan to bring some food options so that, say you plan to bring snacks, so that your options, thank you for the heart, so that your options when you get there, you're less stressed about that. About eating stuff that is very different from what you normally are. But you can also eat really nutritiously the whole week, maybe upping your game a little bit more than you typically do, so that you are better off when you have those foods that are not in your daily routine, and you don't feel so yucky if you have to deviate. If you have to eat some, fried foods and you're not used to that, and whatever it is, insert it in there. So I like to think about food in different chunks, 24 hours a week and then maybe a month. So the one thing that I really like to think about on a monthly level is how much alcohol have I drank. And I think this is super awesome because when you're in the moment and you're out with friends, it's very easy to be like, 2, 3, 4 drinks, whatever. I can handle that, But then if you think about, well, how many drinks did I have over a month? Then you can see, maybe 20 drinks a month is too much. So maybe, that nightly thing with girlfriends, I can go down to 1 drink, or, whatever it is that your number is. But I like to think about that, especially because I find that alcohol really, really affects women's hormones, and I know that it affects mine. So I'm the type of person that I will maybe have 3 drinks a month, maybe 4 if that. But alcohol is not super important to me, and it's not in my culture that I had growing up. So everybody's different there. But Just like ice cream, you can plan for that alcohol consumption. You can eat more cruciferous vegetables to help out your liver. You can eat that liver supporting foods. If you're one of my patients, you know I've probably given you that liver supporting foods list. That is like gold whenever you are anticipating some stress on your liver, that is what alcohol is. It's stress on your liver. It's, alcohol is technically poison, but we, make it fun for whatever reason. But it is an important part of going out with friends, and so we can do things to minimize the toxic effects of alcohol, which is really important. So think about food on the 24-hour scale and the weekly and the monthly, but don't get super you don't need to get super specific about each component, each snack, each meal, each everything, because you're gonna drive yourself nuts. So that would be part of my wellness template, is just looking at, did I get in enough protein? That's a big thing for me. Sometimes I tend to under eat carbs as well, and that really affects me. My thing lately has just not been getting in enough vegetables. But I don't really struggle a lot with eating too much fat. I'm usually really good at getting fat in, so I don't have to kind of check that. Question from Brooke: is a little alcohol beneficial after a meal as a bitter? Oh, so what she's asking, there are these things called digestive bitters, and they are herbal extractions of different herbs that have bitter components. And people typically will take bitters before meals to help stimulate digestive enzymes and production of stomach acid, so that your body's ready for the food that you're about to put in. And then when we're making alcoholic drinks, there's these things called like alcoholic bitters. They're often put into different drinks, and I'm not an expert in anything alcoholic, so I might be butchering this. But there's alcoholic bitters, and then there are that people put in drinks, and then there's herbal bitters. Herbal bitters are extracted with alcohol, but it's a low alcohol content in contrast to like a cocktail bitter. So if we're gonna do bitters, it's gonna be before a meal, because that stimulates your vagus nerve. That gets all of your alcohol, all of your digestive enzymes running, your stomach acid, your pancreatic enzymes, bile. So I would do bitters before the meal, 5 to 10 minutes. On your tongue, don't swallow bitters, put them directly on the tongue. That activates vagus nerve, and the vagus nerve innervates all your abdomen and gets all your motility going. It gets all your digestive juices going, so that's really important. But I've never heard of people actually using like alcoholic bitters as a bitter to help digestion. In traditional cultures, they would use a bitter salad, like mizuna, arugula, those types of things, in like a little salad before you get to the main course. So I like how you're thinking. Let's see, what else? So food, supplements. How do you put supplements into your wellness template? So those of you that have worked with me know that I'm pro supplement, and the reason is because I don't think we get what we need in our diets, no matter how perfect they are. Also, the world is progressively more toxic the more that we put crap into it. So our bodies are less equipped to deal with and liberate and absorb different vitamins, minerals. That being said, supplements get you somewhere. So they're a different type of treatment. They're either repleting a vitamin, they're helping with some deficient biochemical process in your body. They help people with different genetic predispositions. So supplements are supplemental. You can't out-supplement an, shitty diet. You can't do that. I see a lot of people doing that. They think, I'm gonna take DIM for my acne, but I'm never gonna eat a vegetable, or I'm not gonna eat broccoli or brassica vegetables. And that's just totally the wrong way to go about it. It doesn't work that way. So diet is number one. Lifestyle is number two. Supplements is number three, if we had to put it in order. So, for instance, what my supplements look like. So I will usually do magnesium, because it helps with some genetic SNPs that I have. Also helps with poops, which you guys know how much I love talking about poop, and it helps just with mood, with hormones. Magnesium is fantastic, so I'm always on some sort of a magnesium. I'm also, I find that digestive enzymes really do help me, not necessarily to digest food, but it really helps with any sort of inflammation that can happen. Because I have a history of celiac disease, I'm kind of prone to foods affecting me, or like low levels of inflammation that aren't necessarily measurable on a blood test, but something I feel. So when you take a digestive enzyme away from a meal, it helps eat up inflammation. When you take a digestive enzyme with a meal, it helps eat up the food and break down all of the proteins and fats and carbs. So digestive enzymes I find really helpful for me. I also find things like DIM helpful for me with estrogen detox. I find B vitamins very helpful for me. Sometimes I'm on iron, sometimes I'm on a gut support, sometimes I'm on a liver support. And so I will tailor it to kind of what I'm going through. For instance, if I know that I'm going to have a stressful week, or I just went through a stressful series of events, I will put myself on some adrenal support for a couple of weeks to help me not feel so tired or feel like a zombie, and give me a little bit more energy, and also help my system recover. So that's something I will cycle in. I cycle in iron because I'm personally prone to iron deficiency with my celiac disease. So sometimes I'll find that my red meat cravings are going up, or I'm just feeling a little tired and I don't know why, or I'm kind of short of breath, and that's when I'll pop back on an iron. So my supplement box, it changes almost every week. But the staples that I have in there are things like DIM, magnesium, and digestive enzymes. So once you have done a naturopathic medicine journey with a naturopath, and you've worked on your symptoms and you've come out the other side, you're a healthy person, you've got all your lifestyle things on track, then you can learn how to tailor supplements to what you need based on how you feel. And that's something I really, really try to teach my patients is, how do you feel? Like, really, what was the correlation? What was the trigger? And help you be that detective, because the goal is to help you learn how to be a detective in your own body, because you know your body best. And then eventually, once you feel great and you don't need me to help guide you anymore, then you can do that self-detective work. So you don't have to think like, oh, maybe I should ask Dr. Meg what supplement to take. You can think, oh, you know what, I'm feeling a bit inflamed. I think I might have, eaten something that I shouldn't have, or maybe my thyroid is acting up, so I'm gonna get on some antioxidants and some curcumin for a period of time, and, voila, then you feel better. So my supplements change depending on lab work, depending on what I'm thinking about, my goals for the week, how stressed I'm feeling. And you can learn how to do that too. Self-care. So self-care in a weekly wellness template. I like to think about self-care over a month span because it's less overwhelming for me. So my daily self-care and weekly self-care would be a certain amount of workouts and walks. But I also really enjoy having time where I'm not doing anything that's very mentally stimulating. So my fiance and I are learning French. And I'm totally new to French, but he learned French in high school. And so I enjoy that time in the evening when I'm doing some of my French apps to actually kind of brain de-stress. So I like having 30 minutes or an hour to maybe do some online window shopping, or play on my phone a little bit, or read a couple of chapters of a diverting novel that I'm reading, or to read some informative Instagram posts that I wanted to read and learn about. That's really recharging for me. So that can be some daily self-care along with the working out. Self-care can include so many different things, and it's very, very individual. So I can tell you what works for me for self-care, but it's not going to work necessarily for you. I always tell people, think about and ask yourself, what do I need right now? Do I need a hug? Do I need to go for a walk? Do I need an orgasm? Do I need a glass of water? Do I need a super nutritious meal? Do I need a piece of steak? Do I need to sit down with all my plant babies and just breathe? Like, what is it that I actually need? And if you really build this practice of asking yourself, like, how are you? What do you need? How can I, like, ask yourself how you can be of service to yourself, you'll find that you start to get that answer when you're listening to it. And it's more of a gut thing, I find. And this might sound a little bit woo-woo to you guys, but I'm telling you, if you're not in tune with your emotional world, your physical world is not going to go so well. So I always tell people, we got to get your your head and your heart integrated so that we can feel things out better, feel things in your body better. The physical connection, your physical symptoms will improve once you improve the heart-mind connection. So ask yourself, what do I need to de-stress right now? What do I need to eat right now? What am I feeling? How can I help myself in this moment? And that can be really helpful for determining, like, do you need to go take a magnesium bath? Or do you need a castor oil pack? Or do you need to snuggle with your husband on the couch and eat popcorn? Or do you need to take your dog for a walk? Or do you need to go, like, read a crappy magazine and just totally read something diverting, and by crappy magazine, I mean something like, I don't know I said that, something like People or Celebrities, or, something that's, like, totally not relevant or, like, important at all. Anyways, so ask yourself these things, and then it'll be easier to help actually de-stress and get the self-care that you need. I find that most people, I will ask them that in visits, and they say, oh, well, I haven't done a hobby in years, or my kids are my whole life, and so I don't know what I need. So ask yourself, what do you need? What do you need? Other things on here that she asked about: IVs, acupuncture, massage. So very, very specific self-care things. So one thing that a colleague told me once is there's a difference between active and passive self-care, which I loved, because I related to that a lot, because I am really good at active self-care. Active self-care is like, I went on a hike, I cleaned the house and I felt better, I was gardening, or I went on a walk, or something like that. But passive self-care is something where you essentially lay on a table and someone does it for you. So, which kind of sounds kind of funny, but that's like massage, that's like acupuncture, that's like chiropractic, that's like just different naturopathic, muscular techniques, craniosacral therapy, Reiki, all of these things where you lay down and you have a practitioner assist you with whatever therapy you're doing. And passive self-care tends to involve money or going somewhere to help someone facilitate it for you. So it's not as accessible as something active like going on a walk or cleaning the house, doing the dishes, whatever. My thing is, I really enjoy doing laundry sometimes. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why, but that's a whole nother topic. But there's a difference between active and passive self-care, and you have to have a balance of both, because if your self-care is always active, then you're always going to be in such an activity level state, sympathetic state, that very forward-leaning nervous system, that go nervous system. So the point of self-care is to nourish yourself, but also help you slow down a little bit and reconnect with yourself. And so if you're not doing any passive self-care, then you're going to be missing that piece of reconnecting with yourself and just being and just receiving. And so if you're a person that doesn't have any doesn't have any actual passive self-care, get some passive self-care. One thing that I've been telling a lot of patients recently is get into acupuncture. You guys, everybody is crazy stressed, and I almost did a whole live tonight about stress, but I'm almost sick of talking about it because it's so pervasive. It's literally ruining everybody's life. Well, ruining is a strong word, but it's really affecting our lives right now, because especially all of us empathic women, we're feeling the sensations of the world when we go out into it, when we leave our houses, and there's just a lot of negativity going on that is very easy to take on. And we need to not do that. We need to be very, very conscious of, that's your stuff, this is my stuff, and I'm not going to take on your stuff. That stays with you, and this is me and my stuff, and this is my bubble, and you can't be in my bubble with different stressful things. And stress is a big problem. And I've just been talking to everybody about how are they managing their stress, and what are you doing to help diffuse some of the stress. And a lot of people don't have a stress management plan. And so with some patients, what I do is we build a self-management stress plan so that you can deal with your stress by yourself, and it cannot affect you as much as you were previously letting it affect you. So stress has been a big theme lately. Not quite sure where I was going with that, but acupuncture. Acupuncture is amazing, and I've been recommending it to a lot of people for their passive self-care stress management. The reason why is because we have different systems of different ways to look at the body for evaluation. So like traditional Chinese medicine is one way, like that falls under the acupuncture window. We have the physical medicine way of looking at things. We have the drug disease model. We have the naturopathic medicine way of looking at things. And every system of medicine is different and brings something to the table. So what I love about acupuncture is that it's a very energetic way of looking at the body. It talks about the chi and how our chi moves about in our body. And Sarah, yes, community acupuncture is super affordable as well. Oh my gosh, such a good point. Community acupuncture is when you will go into a larger room, and there are different tables, massage tables set up, and the acupuncturist will, talk to you about different symptoms, different things that you need, and then they'll do acupuncture on, anywhere from 3 to 10 people, sometimes more, and they'll put all the needles in everybody, and they'll go around and they'll twist them, they'll adjust things, and it's a really affordable way to help get some patterns to be totally unstuck. And that's something that I've been seeing a lot lately, is people are stuck. The stress pattern is stuck, the thought pattern is stuck, the physical pattern is stuck. So we need to get you unstuck. So one way is to move some chi around, move some energy. I was just talking today with a gal who is chronically cold all the time, yet her thyroid and everything looks great, and I just recommended go get some acupuncture, go de-stress, get that chi moving, get some the traditional Chinese medicine. The way that they look at things is they look at organ systems as being either too hot, too cold, deficient or not deficient, or in excess, and I find that a super awesome way to evaluate different symptoms that we have. So acupuncture is fantastic. Acupuncture is something that you will often do sometimes once or twice a week for a period of time, usually maybe a month, to kind of get a good loading dose of the acupuncture, and then you can do it once a week or once every other week or twice a month, once a month, whatever it is that you find that your acupuncturist needs to see you. But yeah, I recommend everyone to do acupuncture. I received acupuncture when I was in medical school. It was super, super helpful. I've actually been feeling convicted because I've been telling so many people about it. I need to go get it. But acupuncture, keep that on your monthly wellness template. The other things she asked about were IVs. So IVs are intravenous vitamins that are directly delivered into your blood. So they bypass the GI tract. So we're essentially shoving a large amount of nutrients into your blood, which forces cells to take up the nutrients and use them, which is great when your cells are tired or you're chronically ill or you can't even absorb the vitamins in the first place. So IVs are a great treatment protocol for people, depending if we're trying to help decrease oxidative stress, we're trying to help skin detox, we're trying to help bowels, we're trying to get nutrient levels up, we're trying to help decrease headaches, we're helping libido to go up, whatever it is. I have people getting IVs once a month, twice a month, or once a week usually. So if you find that IVs are super helpful for you, and I believe that they're helpful for everybody, and if you haven't gotten an IV, you need to get one, I offer them, PS. Because I love them and I see them help people. So IVs, intravenous nutrients, they're typically very, very safe. And the doctor administers the vitamins in office, everything is clean and sanitary, and a lot of people report feeling a lot better. And I like IVs because it really helps to move blood markers in a totally different way than pretty much anything else. So IVs once a week, twice a month, once a month, it really depends on your needs. I have people that come in and get IVs, before they fly on the plane, whenever they've had something stressful going on that month. I have people that pop in, once a month just for a little checkup for vitamins. So IVs you can think about on a monthly schedule. And then massage. Oh my gosh, you guys, massage. Our muscles are just like any other tissue in the body. They can hold onto crap. We need to detox our muscles, and massage is a way to get your muscles to detox. And when we are rubbing out a muscle, we are actually physically liberating some of the crap that your muscles have held on to. That's why we always recommend take some of that crap and flush it out with the massage and drinking water. So massage and hydration is like one of my most favorite things. But when you massage the body, you're also helping to stimulate that lymphatic system. So the lymphatic system is this system that's in between your blood and your tissues. It's like a way of shuttling different immune cells. It helps maintain your water and your protein balance. It also helps get crap out. But a lot of people have very, very sluggish lymphs, and sometimes that's just because their muscles got too much toxins in them, they got too much crap stored in them, or they're not moving, so the lymph isn't moving. So whenever we're flexing, moving our muscles, moving our bodies, then we're going to be moving the lymph system as well, which is super, super important, especially when we're talking about hormones, detox, just being a well woman. Massage is fantastic. So, if I had my way and I could pick, I would say if a woman could get a massage once a week, I feel like so many women in America and the world would be so much better off. But a massage that is once a month can be really, really great too. One thing that I love is you can actually get a muscle massage gun at home. You can buy these on Amazon. I have I think a Life Pro that I got for $150 on Amazon. It works really well. You can massage yourself with it. You can have your partner, your friend do it, whoever floats your boat, and it's a muscle gun, so it's going like this onto your muscles, which is a percussive way to get your muscles to release things that they need to, and to help stimulate lymph, and to help even with muscle recovery and stuff post-workout. So you can get muscle guns at home, especially for people that chronically have, this going on. It's really great because you can just, I should show you guys next video, but you can take the gun and just put it right here on your trapezius muscle and just hold it and just let it do its work. So really, really awesome. So if you can't pay to get a massage every month, every couple of weeks, get a muscle gun. They're $150-ish, doesn't break the bank, you can save up for it. I got mine after I had a particularly successful month, so that helped to motivate me. So, we like prizes in general as humans. So, if you have something that you want to buy, make it a prize once you reach a certain monthly goal. That's how I like to get things that are expensive, for myself, for bigger purchases, I should say. So you can get a muscle gun if you can't do massage, once a month. But if you are exercising and you're daily moving your body, you're gonna be doing a lot of similarly beneficial things as a massage would. But a massage gets really deep, just, I want to say crap out of your muscles, but it's so much more than that, because your muscles and your bones and your ligaments and your tendons, they're all held together by this stuff called fascia. And fascia is this connective tissue layer that is supportive, and it keeps everything together. Like if we didn't have fascia, we would pretty much just fall apart, because our muscles wouldn't stay on the bones, and the bones wouldn't stay next to the muscles and all that. But fascia can get tight, and fascia can not move properly, so it can restrict muscle movement. So often people just need to get their fascia working correctly, and you need to do that with things like massage, and basic nutrition, collagen, protein, drink enough water. But massage can be really great for helping like a restricted fascial pattern to let go. So what I should do, I can, if this was helpful for you guys, there have been multiple of you that have been staying with me this whole time, so that's great. If it would be helpful for you, let me know. I will post up like a weekly wellness, a monthly wellness template, and you can print it out and use it for your own scheduling of your wellness goals. I think it's really, really important to see something on the wall and be able to think, okay, that thing I need to do. As humans, any reminder to get us to do what we need to do, especially if that thing that we need to do isn't part of our normal routine or is slightly uncomfortable, is super beneficial, because as humans we are programmed not to do anything uncomfortable. It's really, really important if we want to do something uncomfortable, like work out, push ourselves, achieve a different schedule, that we have a physical reminder as part of accountability. So I hope you enjoyed this. The question that I answered tonight was, how do you establish a weekly wellness template? So what does a week of wellness look like? And what does it look like on a monthly rhythm? And we talked about food, supplements, self-care, IVs, acupuncture, stress management. I have a question. Aw, thanks everybody. Thanks for the hearts. Question from Brooke. Do you have to be a patient of yours to come in for an IV? So that's a great question. The answer is, ish. When you come in for an IV, we establish care. So I'll sit down with you for a brief amount of time, and we will discuss kind of what your goals are, and what you are hoping to get out of IV therapy, if IV therapy is going to be a good fit for you and your physical physiology and your goals, if it's going to be safe for you. But I have people that don't necessarily see me as their doctor who decides all of their medical decisions. I have people that just come in and see me for IVs, and I keep up with all of their health history, so I know that it's safe to give them IVs, but they aren't necessarily like patients where I call the shots with, if that makes sense. So any other questions, you guys, from tonight? This was a really great live. I'm hoping that the external noise wasn't too bad. I really am loving being outside. P.S. I also found this really adorable pillow at Target, and I've been looking at it this whole time, and it's just giving me so much joy, which is so silly. But any questions before I turn everything off? This was a whole hour. Thanks for hanging in, you guys. About to sign off here. If there are any other questions, just DM me and I'll address them. For those of you guys that want me to talk about a certain topic, please reach out to me. I will send you my survey. I'm surveying everybody who wants to put their voice out there for me to hear, because I want to answer your questions. I don't want to create my questions. I want to answer your questions, but I need to know what those questions are first. So I have a survey that I've been sending people. So have a great night, everybody. I'm about to get kicked off Instagram. Again, Dr. Meg ND is my name, and we do these Instagram lives at 5 every Monday night-ish at Pacific Standard Time. So if this video helped you, share it. Please get the word out. Bye.